Christianity is a product of paganism and a movement that evolved from the worship of the sun god. I know many Christians who find this lecture impressive. However, history is history, and we must teach history. Now, let us look at the central figure in Christianity known as a man. The word Amen was actually a deity in the ancient Egypt that evolved from the word Ra. When you study the Egyptian cosmology, you will understand that Ra was an ancient deity that was venerated in Egypt. That deity was a supreme deity, the sun god, the primordial son of God, the one you call son of God. Now, this deity was actually the son of God, not son of God, before the Christian hijacked this phrase. Now, this Ra represented what? Light, creation, and renewal. It was depicted as a man with hawk head and a solar disk. And that is why whenever you see the image of Jesus, you always see what? A solar disk around the head. Now, in the Egyptian cosmology, Ra was the giver of what? Light, life. And he was the god that maintained what? Cosmic what? Balance, known as what? Mahat. Now, the Egyptians believed that it was Ra that inspired photosynthesis, because through Ra, through Ra illuminates darkness and brings light to them and ensures cosmic balance and order in their society. If you check the Igbo metaphysical framework, this god Ra was known as what? Oranambo, Nyabanyangu na Agbala. That deity that is always venerated on every Eke market day. Now the question becomes, why do Christians worship on a Sunday? If you dissect the etymology of the word Sunday, this word Sunday is a compound word gotten from the combination of two words, sun and day, which means a day that the sun god was venerated. Now let us proceed. If you are conversant with the Egyptian cosmology and the Igbo cosmology, you will understand that the Egyptians and the Igbos were the first to practice what we call anthropomorphous representation of divine effigy. Now pay attention. Christians will call it idolatry, but that is not the case. When we're talking about anthropomorphous representation of divine effigy, it means assigning a divine character to a symbol. You know, the Igbos use effigy to explain some aspect of divinity, some aspect of the cosmic forces, because our ancestors interacted with the cosmic forces and they were able to decode some element of divinity. And during their time, they were able to preserve those knowledge through arts and writing. When you see the image of Ikenga, when you see the image of Alusi, that image is not that Alusi or the deity, rather a reflection of a divine being. And that is why when you study Catholicism, you see the mapota a modu abasement. Well, one nine de aso. Asking Nankabu nine de aso, Nankabu Joseph, Nankabu sense. The Igbos and the Egyptians were the first to do that. But the Igbos used totem trees, holy tree, not cement. But I don't want to deviate. Now, in the year around Middle and New Kingdom in Egypt, that was around 1500 BCE to 2000 BCE. A new god emerged, known as what? Ammon. Now, what is Ammon? Ammon was a deity that was venerated in the new kingdom of Egypt. That deity represented what? Mystery, hidden, and the unseen element of divinity. Ammon was a character that revealed the eternal being. If you study research, there is something we call in research. If you are making research, sometimes we can use the seen to explain the unseen, from known to unknown. These were what our ancestors did. Now, this Ammon that they worship or they venerated in the ancient Kemet was actually a reflection of the mystery of divinity during this era. Now, for there to be a political and religious balance, the priest of Thebes met these two gods, Ammon and Ra, and called it what? Ammon Ra. Now, this is the combination of this God and this God. It gave us what? Ammon Ra. Now, when the Christians emerged, history has taught us that Africa was actually the cradle of human civilization. All the ancient Greek philosophers, and I've said it before that there is nothing like Greek philosophy, that the word Greek philosophy is actually a misnomer or the raw. What we had was African philosophy, but these guys will never give us credit. But we are here to tell our story. Now, most of them actually came to Africa to study. The first monastery in the world was built in Egypt. Go and find out. Africa gave them the concept of God, the concept of divinity, the concept of religion was first borrowed from Africa by the Greeks. Now, when the Christians now came, if you check the etymology of the word amen, you will understand that the word amen was gotten from Ammon word Ra, Alosindegini, in Egypt. Now, as a Christian, whenever you pray and say amen, just have it in mind that you are making an affirmation in the name of Gini Anyanwu na Awala Ammon Ra. Now the question becomes, who is actually a pagan or who practices paganism? Afambunam dizori lo manichabe. Dibi fetu upuru anando.